people obey. I don't care. It's quite a rough ride, just like life. But I'm kinda patient, cause only time will tell. It's gonna go up, so you better stay calm. Grow your coins, you gotta grow your coins. Grow your coins, grow your coins. Grow your coins, you gotta grow your coins. Grow your coins, grow your coins. Grow your coins, you gotta grow your coins. Grow your coins, grow your coins.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome. I am the Crypto Crow. It is Sunday evening. It's about 9:40. My lighting is not so good because I have no sunlight. It's nighttime, and I don't have any real lights set up or anything. But I figured I would go live and talk about what's going on. What's going on, everybody? Looks like there's a lot of people who don't really have a lot going on Sunday night. I'm glad I can reach out and touch some of you. Love you too. Spoopy, that's a new name. That's cool. Crow bro. What's going on, Paul G? So there's some things that I want to talk about, and I've been playing with charts as I do pretty much every day and every night, and I'm working on a Cardano trade entry. I've been kind of laddering into it, and let me know if you guys can hear me okay, that even though I'm not talking super loud. Say it ain't so. Yeah, right. I have fun with charts. What can I say? The first thing I want to show you guys is some liquidity heat maps, just to give you kind of an idea what's going on. And then we're going to dive into the charts and some of the Fed rate cut history, because I find it pretty interesting. And I just put in a Zen, and boy, is it hard. It's harsh when you first put one in. So anyway, on the left side, you're going to see Bitcoin on 15-minute candles. And then on the right side, you're going to see Cardano. Now, the first thing that we're looking at here is this is Bitcoin moving its way through all the liquid in the charts, liquid in the markets. And you can see we've got about 335 orders here at about 116,000. And you can see we've kind of worked our way down through this area here. The price has come down around 114,661, but we didn't flush all this out yet, which means I'm going to say it's likely we're going to come back down, even though we're at 115,000 now. We did clear out all of this here. That was about 390 orders. And we've got more to come down here at 114.6. We have some orders that were removed. We got another little bit here around 114. And we don't have that much. We've got some at 114,000 even, roughly. We really don't have that much going on. So you get all the way down here, and even this isn't happening right now. This was all pulled. So there really isn't a lot. There aren't a lot of people who are effectively long right now, creating all this liquid at below price, because you can see there's a little bit more going on to the upside, which means the sentiment is people are short. The majority, I think, of people are short. Now, if we look at Cardano, you can see some similar activity here. You can see we've got more going on to the downside. Like this here's around 86 cents. You come all the way down here and around the 79 cents. And that's the bulk of it. You've got, little bips and blips lower. But the majority of this is at around 79 cents. Now, what I find interesting is the majority of this at one point, like 48 hours ago, was right here around 84 cents. So it's actually come down. And so I do think it's possible that we hit this. Now, I'm going to tell you what I think may be playing out. We have the Fed rate cuts coming on Wednesday. And there's a lot of speculation associated with these cuts. And, a lot of people are thinking that we're going to hit, we're going to cut rates by, 25 basis points. I'm actually thinking we might be cutting 50 basis points. And there are a lot of different reasons for that. But if I'm just looking at the charts, let's look at history here. So if we go all the way back here to the 6/12/2024, this was June, we got a Fed rate cut of around 25 bips. And that rate cut, because everybody thinks right now that the Fed cutting rates is going to start pumping us, right? It's going to start, we're going to the moon, we're getting the rate cuts. There are other things that need to line up for the crypto market to really start pushing up higher, higher, higher quickly to see any kind of real parabolic activity. And if we look at this, that rate cut, June 12th of 2024, actually caused a 23.5% correction in Bitcoin. All right. If we move further to July 31st, another 25 bip rate cut. This was after a pump. So we came down about 23%, rose back up to about where we started. And then we got another rate cut. And then that dropped us another 26% from that. Now, I don't actually think we're getting just a 25 bip cut. I think we're looking at 50. And there are so many different factors to this, but when the last time we got a 50 bip cut was back here on September 18th of 2024, we got a 50 bip cut. Not only did it not tank the market, but that actually did start sending us higher. And a lot of projections are putting us around, November, December in terms of a Bitcoin price peak. And that we're looking at, potentially an altcoin parabolic peak sometime like, January, February, thereabouts. The more I look at the historical charts, the more I'm thinking we may be peaking all together. We might get a little bit of a delay in the alts, but it's very interesting. And I'm going to end up doing a video on that. I'm not going to cover it much tonight because it's so late and I don't want to keep everybody up. But in addition to this, we got our first big rate cut of 50 bips in September. Then we got another one here in November. And then we got another one later that month. I think that was actually supposed to be December. So we had one in the beginning of November, and then another one I think was in December. So 2 months in a row. And that basically just kept it's almost like, you're on the skateboard and you got to push it to keep it going forward. And I feel like these rate cuts consistently push the price up higher and higher until we basically got that local top here in January of 2024 at around 108,000. And I think we may be seeing something similar to that. And in the midst of all of this, we basically went, so from the first rate cut to where we ended up at the second, that was a 30% increase. From the bottom to the top, that was 83.4% price growth in Bitcoin just from the beginning of that 50 bip rate cut. Overall, between it, we gained in Bitcoin's price by around 84%, cutting one full percentage. Basically, we got 100 bips knocked off the interest rate, and that moved Bitcoin's price up 84%. And so when I look at where we're at right now, and I'm just kind of thinking, okay, if we get a 25 bip a 25 bip cut, that's very likely going to drop the price a bit. I marked this for shits and giggles. That a 23% cut would basically put us at around $88,000. I don't think that's going to happen. I think if we do get a 25 bip cut, it might take us somewhere down here to this moving average, which I think is the 800 moving average. Now this is on a daily chart here. But that would basically put us at around 104,600. And that's based on where it's at right now, but it's probably, my guess is going to flatline here. However, if we were to get a 50 bip cut, which I could see us kind of preparing for right now, because you can see a lot of the bullish momentum, the bullish volume is starting to wane. And we're starting on a daily, we're starting to get a bit of a reversal. And I think that we could basically get a bit of a cut. We might drop a bit in Bitcoin's price, maybe we hit somewhere around 113.26, clear out all that liquid that's sitting there waiting to be plucked like chickens. And then we get the rate cut. Maybe we get a 50 bip rate cut, and that starts sending us up. And I think that it's just going to depend on maybe how much of a cut we get and ultimately where we're at in the market. I could see the market makers playing this though, and I could see us at the very least getting a really strong wick to the downside before moving up. I'm hoping that's how this plays out. And the only reason I'm thinking that could be what's in play is because just where we're at in the market. And I know that I shouldn't, because it's establishing a bias in me that isn't necessarily clear-headed. But when you look at where we're at in the market cycle and where we are expected to likely peak, it would only make sense, especially given how long it's been. I mean, the Fed hasn't cut rates since the election, right? That's one of the reasons why Trump's always losing his shit. He's like, you guys cut rates, all this, 4 times, during an election year, trying to help your buddies out against me. But now that I'm here, you won't cut rates no matter what the hell's going on in the economy. And of course, they have a million excuses and reasons why, but effectively, a rate cut doesn't mean we're going to get an immediate pump in the crypto market. Historically, even if you look back a little further, typically when the rates get cut, we drop a little bit first. And sometimes those drops can last 30 to 60 days, which would really, really, really suck given where we're at, because that would put us in November. I don't think we're going to peak out at around $150,000, $160,000 in November if we get a 30% cut or a 30% drop right now. I don't see that happening. But if we get a 50 bip cut and we start pumping, we get 23% on the upside. That takes us to around $140,000 over the course of basically over the next 30 to 60 days. Then yeah, maybe we do start seeing somewhere around 160,000, 165,000 for a potential peak somewhere around November. And maybe that spills a little bit into December. So that's basically what I'm thinking. And I'm curious I'm going to check out the comments here in a second, and I'm going to see what you guys think. If you haven't yet, make sure you check out cryptocrow.io. If you remember, if you join the site, I really, really, really value comments letting me know what kind of content I need channeled. I need you guys to help channel some of my focus on what benefits you the most. Some of these tiers are only $5 because they're very, very specialized, and not everybody's going to care. Like this tier, this is the mortgage tier. If you're a loan officer, if you're in the mortgage business, you really want to know how to improve your business, become a better loan officer, get more referral partners from real estate agents, etc. These articles are going to teach you how to do what I did when I was in the mortgage business, and I was referred to as a rainmaker by pretty much everyone in the region. Everybody knew who I was. And all these articles do are break down everything that I did. And I thought outside of the box quite a bit. And I really do believe they'll help you. But, that's a $5 tier because not everybody cares about mortgage. I think to get everything that I publish, it's like $15 a month. And I do a lot of different things. I do charting. I have trade journal stuff. I do all sorts of things. So check that out. And then also, of course, you got to check out wargroom.io. And coming soon is Moonrunner. I've been paper trading with this, and over the course of the weekend, and I had like 70 freaking trades, man, with I think it was seven different trading pairs that I back tested first. And I just started a group. It's a private Telegram group for beta testers. Right now we have the Mac version ready for beta testing. And basically back trading and paper trading. And then I'm waiting for Eli. He's kind of went MIA on me because I think he's trying to get a job, and he's been busy with proposals and things. So that's going to be but when he gets the PC version, I'm going to of course let everybody know, and make sure you check it out. This bot's going to be awesome, man. I mean, if you remember Crow Trader, it's basically going to be like Crow Trader, but it's actually going to work, and it's going to be kind of like on roids. Like and we're going to the more popularity this bot gets, the more users that we get, and the more this grows, There's definitely some discussion where we're going to take this is going to be kind of like the basic version, because this is so easy. I mean, this is so easy to use. Once you've played with it for a week, you're going to be a pro. But you can set it right out of the box, man, with like base settings and start running. I mean, it really is that simple. But I also want to get into more of a quantitative machine learning approach as well. And I'm not sure how we're going to do that, but I want it all to be one cohesive package with maybe tiers. So we'll see. But I just wanted to kind of let everybody know that this is definitely coming. It's in the works, and you're definitely going to like it, because I'm loving it. I really am having fun with the back testing and stuff. And so, but yeah, check that out, moonrunner.io. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into some Q&A. I'm going to drag this over here. I watched Charles talk tonight. Why isn't this wanting to go over? Here we go. Okay, now I got big screen. I can actually read. Yeah, I watched Charles talk tonight. I always comment. He never addresses my comments in his live streams, which I mean, it's like, I don't know. He used to. He doesn't anymore. I think he sees me now and he's like, man, go fuck yourself. But I don't know. He said he wanted to do an interview, but I haven't heard anything about that since either. But he tends to do that. Let's see what's going on. I'm trying though, because I really want to get into the nitty gritty about Cardano Foundation and figure out what the hell's going on with that, man. I mean, I will say that I really liked what Charles had to say tonight, because it was very calm, and it wasn't like ranty or like, like F the world or anything like that. It was very much like he was addressing some FUD on Reddit. And I definitely see the burnout. I see Charles just like, you know what do I have to do? And I get it. I think there's always a lot more going on behind the scenes than meets the eye personally. I've definitely learned that that's a possibility. But when it comes to the tech alone, there really is nothing better than Cardano. I mean, and people can say what they want, but DB Crypto is always on Twitter, man. I mean, Dave on X, DB Crypto, they're a bunch of guys. They're just studying Solana like a hawk, just exposing everything every week. And it's just so exhausting, but people don't care, man. I mean, the majority of people in crypto are degenerates. They don't really give a shit about the future or the decentralized nature of crypto, or basically the reason why we're all here at all. Like, everybody's just like, I just want to get rich. I don't give a shit how it comes. Like, I don't care if like kids are doing stuff on social media to try and pump a meme coin, or like the meme coin that launched about Charlie Kirk. That almost made me throw up. I mean, truly, that almost made me throw up when I saw that. I'm like, of course that's a Solana coin. Like, of course it is, because that's the community over there. And I'm sorry, but it is what it is. And I'm tired of holding back what I really think, trying to be all politically correct in the crypto space. I just don't give a shit anymore, man. I mean, there's so many degenerate projects in the crypto space. Why do you think I only really talk about Cardano anymore? It's just nothing else really turns me on. I mean, it's like, it's like I always tell my wife, you marry a hot chick, you've got the best. It's like at that point, you just don't really give a shit anymore. I mean, that's kind of how I look at it. That's how I look at Cardano. I'm like, you've already got the best. It's always growing, improving. I mean, you've got Ethereum constantly playing catch up. Every time Cardano does something, 3 to 6 months later, Ethereum's like, hey, we're doing that too. And it's just like, come on, man. And at what point, it's like, obviously Ethereum and Cardano are competitors, and everybody's a competitor in the space. But it's like, with all of the stuff that Midnight's been doing and they've been trying to do with Midnight, there's still so much tribalism. And I really do believe that Charles was trying to extend an olive branch to the majority of the crypto communities out there by giving them and making their ecosystems a part of this Midnight airdrop. And I feel like it's so polarizing. Like, the crypto space is so polarizing. You've got people who only care about themselves, what they get, and they don't care how they get it. They don't care where it comes from. It's just, they just don't care. A lot of the influencers are making so much money promoting a lot of this bullshit. And it generates clicks, because Solana, I mean, it is what it is, man, but they put a lot of money to be a part of a lot of conversations. And I will say this about Solana: it doesn't really matter how I feel about it. The one thing that I think Solana does have on Cardano and I've never really said this before, but I see it all the time. If I'm doing WordPress work, or I'm working on a website and I'm looking for plugins that do XYZ, or I'm looking for an API to do some AI vibe coding for something, Solana is always there. I swear to God. I mean, these guys, when it comes to making sure that Solana is available for everything and anything anyone can do, I'm not kidding when I say I could probably try and launch a shit farm, and I could need an app for that. And I will go and do a little search and try to find something Cardano focused, and Solana will be all I see. And so, it's just like, when it comes to taking shit, painting it real nice, and then pushing it out to market, I don't know how much money they've spent to achieve that, but fucking bravo, man. I mean, I have to give them credit. They've taken what I believe is one of the worst crypto projects out there, and they've made sure that it's a part of every conversation, no matter what the hell you're doing in Web 2, Web 3. It doesn't matter. And I wish Cardano would do the same. And that's, unfortunately, I feel one of the problems with Cardano, if I'm just being real honest about it, I feel like because of the decentralized nature of it, I really feel like it's that much more difficult to push it to market for a variety of different things. It's relying on the community to dictate what happens when and how and who gets funded for this and that. There's no centralized office that says, okay, we need to get a whole bunch of WordPress plugins. We need to get a bunch of API systems in place for people that want to vibe code on the internet and build this app or that app. We just don't see a lot of that. Although I say, what is it? Is it Black Frost? I can't remember the name. I actually just canceled my account for it today because the Crow Score thing I kept running into bugs, and I stopped promoting it because I just stopped using it. And I was actually using a Cardano API. I think it's from Black Frost, unless I'm mistaken. If I am, let me know in the comments if you know. But that was the only API thing I've ever seen for Cardano for use in AI and vibe coding. I was shocked to see it. I'm like, hell yes, thank God somebody's doing something. It's also one of the reasons I approved one of their big proposals, because I'm like, I know you guys are building shit. I've used it. So it's just like, we need more of that. We need more applications. We need more, dare I say, inclusion in the market. And it's like, I don't even know. It's one of the reasons why I wanted to have a discussion with Charles and cover a lot of the stuff in an interview, because there's been so much drama and back and forth bullshit between the three entities, the Cardano Foundation, IOHK, and Emergo. It's like, I don't even know who is supposed to be doing any of this stuff, but I know they're not. I can tell you that. Because I could tell you what blockchains are. And if one of those entities was responsible for doing the kinds of things I was just talking about, it sucks that they still have funding and still have a job, because they're obviously not doing a very good job of it. So, and but here's the flip side to that, in my opinion, is we are going to get to a point where the technology of Cardano and the way it's been built and what it was built and what it's continuing to be built for, I really do believe that it's not going to be that much longer until the world starts really clicking and really understanding, oh, that's why that does that. That's because I truly believe that Charles is just way ahead of his time. We're in an age of degeneracy right now. Cardano's not a degenerate project. Neither is anyone in the community. I mean, I feel like the community of Cardano truly is made up of a lot of purists. Dare I say, like, high moralists? I mean, I don't really know if there's a term for that, but people that believe, I'm kind of one of them. I feel like, we're in this space, and we've kind of grown to Cardano because of the nucleus that makes it what it is, right? And they continue expanding on that and branching out and covering new areas by sharing the same spirit. And I just think that's what's very much lacking in a lot of these other crypto projects, because it's all very much, we're building this because we want to make a bunch of money. We don't really give a shit how, and we're going to do whatever we can. We're going to stomp on this guy, stomp on that. We're going to take, steal, grab, punch, and kick. And like, we don't care who gets hurt. And unfortunately, there's just so much degeneracy in the crypto space, hell bent on turning a penny into a dollar overnight. They don't really care, like, the methodology behind it. So anyway, I'm going to shut up and stop yambling, and we'll get to some of these comments. So You guys don't post them for nothing because I love your comments. I do. More often than not, I go back to a video and I read the comments afterwards, especially if I, for whatever reason, aren't able to get to a lot of them. Late night for the old crow to go live. I'm here for it. Thank you, Hitting Licks. I appreciate it. WTF. You know, that's the part of why YouTube doesn't like me, because it never knows when I'm going to pop on. There's no rhyme or reason. I have no real algorithm that I follow anymore. That's why my channel doesn't really grow. And quite frankly, I just don't give a shit. The people who love me and who've been watching me for years and kind of know me, you guys know me from way back. You know how I operate. You know what fuels me. You guys are always here because you value what I have to say. I get a lot of messages though too, and some of them are funny. I know some of you guys just love my voice. Some of you guys just wish I was your boyfriend, apparently. It's a little something for everybody, I guess, and it's all good. I love you all the same. But yeah, on a Sunday. Yes, I am here on a Sunday. Greetings from Chicago. How is everything in Chicago, man? I've been seeing so much stuff about security and Trump and everything going on. Like I've seen so many different things about Chicago, and it just scares the hell out of me. Last time I was at Chicago, I actually thought it was, let me take that back. I was in Chicago many, many years ago, and I thought it was an absolutely beautiful city. I went back years later. When I first went there, it was on business when I was in the mortgage business. And I went to train a bunch of loan officers in a Chicago branch office. And I had just finished working with his Cincinnati branch, and he's like, "Hey, you got to go to Chicago. I've got another branch out there. You got to do the same for them." So I would travel back and forth, and I'm like, this is a beautiful city, man. I mean, you're walking down the street, you don't have a bunch of people asking for money. There wasn't a lot of homeless stuff. I didn't see a lot of bad stuff. But then the last time I went, which it's been years still, but I'm like, wow, Chicago's changing. Like, this isn't anywhere near as nice. I don't know what happened. But it wasn't anywhere near as nice. And I honestly didn't even feel quite as safe as I did the first time I was there. So, and that was shit, man. I mean, that was probably 7-8 years ago, the second time. So I don't know what it's like nowadays, but apparently it's gotten real bad because I'm seeing the numbers and it's just not doing well. Spoopy, yo, Big Crow. What do we think about Charlie Kirk? Oh, I was hoping one of you guys wouldn't say that. Shit. Let me just try and be brief with this. I've spent days trying to explain things to my wife without breaking down. That's how I feel about what happened to Charlie Kirk. As many videos as I've seen of Charlie Kirk over the past several years, I never realized his company was called Turning Point. I think we are quite literally now at a turning point in this country. And I think that what happened to him was not only vile, I think it really, not only the act of what happened to him, but the response from these animal loving, vegan, inclusive, moral high, soapbox preaching bullshit artists. I think that it basically their response and their laughter and their glee. Let me put it to you this way. I have spent years, like I used to always talk about my liberal friend George, right? Smart, one of the smartest people I know. Truly one of the smartest people I know. But when it came to politics, I've never known anybody more brainwashed and lost. And we used to argue back and forth on Telegram every day. And he is somebody that I quite literally would have considered a genius. I mean, I have to assume he probably is, and likely maybe even his wife. His wife is a professor, and very, 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 very liberal, of course. And as people, I love them both. Just like friends and like just people. But when it got to politics, you start really seeing how easily somebody's mind can be taken over in ways that make no real legitimate sense. And I witnessed it in real time by chatting with him every day on Telegram. And what used to be very intelligent conversations over, I would say, the course of maybe 2 years, devolved into just a constant flood of hateful memes. I mean, that was it. And it got to the point where I was just like, dude, I have no interest in these stupid memes anymore. I'm like, it's like they're disgusting. They're not true. The point I'm getting at is I feel that the media, the politics and the media that serve them is very much responsible, I believe, for the division that has formulated and grown and solidified in this country. And I think what happened to Charlie Kirk is very much I think everybody's done fucking around now. Let's put it that way. I've spent so long trying to be understanding and patient. At times I can be cocky only when I feel like I'm being attacked, and then I disprove somebody, or I've got receipts for something that shuts them up, and then they just kind of scurry back to their corner. Like I've been divisive myself, because oftentimes I find myself just really unable to maintain a sensibility about myself when dealing with people that I think have truly lost their ever fucking mind. Like I just don't understand it. And so I just, yeah, I mean, what do I think about Charlie Kirk? I think that I've seen some comments, and I've covered this, like the Smith-Mundt Act and basically all the stuff. I mean, Obama really did a number on allowing propaganda in the U.S. I mean, if you look it up on these fact checkers, the way they reword the question and then like very cleverly word the answers, it's disgusting. But I mean, that's a part of it, right? Because that used to be a big part of every argument. Somebody on the left would say something, or somebody on the right would say something, and then somebody on the left would go, they'd pull up one of these like liberal, and then they've all been proven to be like liberal hive minds. Like it's all been proven at this point. This was like a couple years ago. Even the majority of them are like liberal husband wife partnerships or whatever, and they're writing this shit out in their apartments. Like that's the majority of these fact check companies, right? We think that they're like these big conglomerates that are out there. No, it's like basically opinion pieces by very intelligent losers who basically spin shit in a way that makes it believable, as they hide more details of the truth much further down in a very creative way of writing. A deflection, right? And it basically doesn't answer anything, but the headlines or the titles always say, is this true? And then they say, well, and then it's hard to explain because it's such mind fuckery, but that's what people would refer to all the time and say, well, look at the fact check disproves you. This fact check disproves you. All of this stuff has been debunked, yet so many people ignore it because they don't care. They've spent so many years being brainwashed. There's one question that I have to ask in a lot of this: who profits from the division of this country? Who profits from it? And how is that really going for them? I'm trying so hard to just keep my cool and not like break down. I wasn't really prepared for that question tonight, but I mean, overall, I think it's disgusting. I think that the gauntlets have been dropped. And I really do hope that somehow, some way, like I've been seeing droves of people, like I can't even count the videos I've been seeing of people that are like, I'm done with the Democratic Party. I can't do this anymore. Like it's blatantly obvious now who the real bad people are. I didn't realize I was one of them forever. I watched this one young girl, she's probably in her 20s, explaining like her mindset when she was basically a diehard lefty. And keep in mind, I'm not a righty either. I know that a lot of people think I am because of the way I talk a lot. I'm neither, man. I'm very much independent. I'm independent of mind, body, and soul. I call things as I see them. I was not a Bush fan at all during 9/11. I have all my own thoughts about that. Like, there is no right or left side that's good. I think that what's been happening since 2020, really before that, 2016. I mean, I feel like that's a whole other thing. Maybe I'll write a big thing about it on my site or something. This is definitely probably not the best place to talk about it, but I'm not right or left. And I think depending on who's in office and who paid for their ride there, that's what really dictates what happens during that term. And I think Trump really, I don't know. I can't say that I don't know, man. All I know is that the numbers of the left are dwindling fast, and every time they try to do something dramatic, thinking that it's somehow going to help them. I don't know if what happened to Charlie is a last ditch effort. We don't have enough information. I know that the propagandists are already out in droves putting all kinds of nonsense all over social media. And of course, everybody on the left, they just gobble up everything like, it's like a dog looking for its next snack or meal. It doesn't really care what it is. It's just like, let me just grab this and chew on it because it might be food. And there's no discernibility whatsoever to any of these people. They just grab the thing that came out the soonest, and they just start spitting it out all over the internet. Like all of the facts about this Tyler Robinson character. It's like, oh, he's basically a lot of the propaganda now is like they're trying to make him out to be a MAGA guy. Listen, folks, he wasn't a MAGA guy. His family was. He wasn't. As I understand it, based off of the details that have been released, he was actually a member of like the Democratic Socialist Party or something like that. He's actually wearing one of their T-shirts in a photo, and on top of that, I'm pretty sure it's pretty much public knowledge now, even though people that I've engaged with on Facebook don't want to buy it, that he had a boyfriend, girlfriend that identified as trans, who has basically been cooperating with the authorities. But none of that is on any of this propaganda because they want to create a story. And it's so easy to continue fooling these people because I honestly believe that you want to know what I honestly believe would happen if CNN and MSNBC and any of these news networks just came out and just for a straight hour listed everything they lied about and why over the last like 10 years. I truly believe our self-offing rate would skyrocket for about a week because people would just not be able to handle the fact that they have been so monstrously accepting and blindly believing of pure propaganda to like basically cause them to do everything that they've been doing. They've been used. I feel like people on the left today are being used. They have been used. And they believe any narrative spit out at them. And it's a lot easier to affect that inspiration in people if you're able to get them all to hate somebody else so much that it like makes these other people the good guys by default. This person is so bad. Even if you don't like us, we're the lesser evil because look how bad this person is when everything's edited, doctored, lies through omission. I mean, you name it. Every game you could possibly conceivably play, and it's worked. And it's created such a problem in this country that people can no longer just speak their opinion anymore without fear of their life. And it's disgusting. I've had all my own opinions on politicians, Biden, Kamala, all of them, like Hillary, Pritzker, all these people, man. I mean, to me, I feel like they're either just great actors or they're all insane. I mean, that's just my opinion. And there are a lot of people on the right too that I feel the same way. I would never wish physical harm on any of them. I would never be gleeful. Like I thought about it many times. Like, what would happen if Biden passed away during his? I mean, it's obvious the media is lying. This guy's on his last leg. Like, That would be so terrible. That would be so sad, like for the country. I used to think that. I couldn't stand the man. His history as a senator, all the lies. I mean, everything he was just a dirtball. I'm sorry. But for whatever reason, everybody thought he was just good old Uncle Joe. And he was just a good old guy. And he's just this old, fun, nice guy. He's the president now. And like, and it's just like everything was bullshit, man. Like all the stuff with his daughter and his son and like just everything that was coming out of their relationships with Ukraine. Everybody ignored all that because they didn't want to not believe that Joe was anything but like the grandpa that's giving you milk and cookies when you go visit on Saturdays, right? Like, it's like, that's the idea. That's the vision that was put in everyone's head while you've got this rich, big, bad orange man billionaire who's like here to just conquer the world. And like, I don't know, man, it's so stupid. But I never wished any of them death. I never wished any of them harm. I want them out of office. I want them out of my hair. I want them out of like positions of power. You know what I mean? But it's just like the where we're at right now as a society full of these entitled brats who have basically lived a life of participation trophies, have never really had to do much of anything. They live their lives on social media and doing everything in the name of trying to get more clicks and more views to whatever bullshit they're putting out. They're all crying to each other on social media, playing the victim for this reason, that reason. It seems like it's different every other day of the week. And then, they do the most disgusting shit. And then when they discover that there are actual repercussions when they're not protected, right? They lose that sense of entitlement. Like, oh, I can do and say whatever I want to do. I can burn buildings. I can lie. I can cuss people out. I can wish death on the world, and nobody will ever do anything to me because this is my opinion. And right. But and other people have an opinion. And now, we see what happens. Right. So, and now all these people that are just losing their shit over the fact that they're losing their jobs because they're like, I watched the one video. The guy was like, I just lost my job. I've been with Microsoft 6 years and I've just lost my job over an opinion. And I'm like, no, you lost your job because you publicly exposed yourself as being a piece of total human shit. That's why you lost your job. You forgot to put that on your resume. Okay. And it's just like, what was it during the pandemic? Anytime anyone on the right had anything to say about anything, everybody was like, yeah, freedom of speech, sure, but know that there are going to be consequences to your words, to your action. Like, okay, well, when do you realize that this is a two-way street and it's the same shit for both sides, right? You're not immune. You're not immune to repercussions for the actions that you take. I guess overall, like in my gut, in my heart, I wish to God there was a way for everyone to just wake the fuck up and start coming together in some way. It's like, I don't have any problem with anybody, man. Like, I don't care if you got purple hair and a nose. My wife has a fucking nose ring, for God's sakes. You know what I mean? She's not insane, and it sucks because she loves her nose ring. But now all these video clips you see of people doing and saying insane shit, they all have like a nose ring. I'm like, what the hell is this? It's just like, my wife just thinks it's artistic and like, she's all into all that woozy woo shit, as I call it. But like, it's all about being a better person, being a better you and energy and all that. She's all about the vibe, all about all that, right? But from her, it's just all love. And like for most people, I feel like it's almost like wearing a red or blue bandana in your pants. And it's just like, that's really not what it's about. And I don't know. I really just wish there was a way for everybody to just figure out how to come together and start working towards some real resolution, because honest to God, folks, it really doesn't matter, right or left. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. What do we have on each side? Well, we've got like three or four core issues that dictate the intent for the entire globe based on these three or four issues. And it's what it seems like it boils down to. And everything else of that is like either an extension of, or it's just something thrown into the mix because it benefits this politician or that political group or this company that's paying for this political group. Like, when do we open our eyes to basically everybody is basically bought and sold? Like, everybody, we're all basically slaves to a system through taxation. We're all fighting the same fight. Why can't we ever figure out a way to fight that fight together? And why is it that we have become this I mean, think about it. I think of all of the LGBTQ community, and they're all talking about Palestine this, Palestine that, and like they're in such passionate defense of basically a group of people that would love to throw them off the roof of a building just for being who they are. Did they not realize this or recognize that? I've seen some of those videos years ago. It was inhuman. It was insane. Have they seen any of them, or do they not really believe that any of that shit ever happened, or potentially still happens to this day? I don't know. There are so many people in this world that hate us just for being Americans. It's not going to change. Why do we all have to hate each other so much that we're willing to sit around gleefully cheering and dancing at the demise, the assassination of somebody who just had a different opinion and a different perspective? I'll never understand it. But I'm sorry. But anybody that comes to me and says that, oh, this is a party of inclusivity, you're full of shit. Everything about you is full of shit. And when I see people on the left sharing memes, and then when you engage them in conversation, they really don't seem to have a clue what the hell you're talking about, or they just basically go away because they really don't know enough to engage you in any kind of conversation. You should just stop talking. You know, like that's it. Just stop talking. Just remove yourself from the conversation entirely. Don't try to earn these kudo points from your community. Like, look, I just posted something stupid too that we all agree is right, but it's not because it was disproven last Thursday. But we don't know about that because in our cult, we're not allowed to go and look at the news or look at sources outside of what we're allowed to look at. I mean, it's the same with like the Catholic Church, same with Scientology, same with any group. You're only allowed to read this. You're not allowed to read that. You're not allowed to look here. You're only allowed to look there. It's all a form of control because nobody that's trying to force an indoctrination on anybody wants their focus diverted to something that might lead them astray because they don't want people to see that there's more to the story than what they're being told. And that's basically what it boils down to. And unfortunately, there's so many people in the world today who are struggling for one reason or another that all they want are answers, and they want to feel like they're protected. They want to feel like they're included in something. They want to feel like they have a community that has their back no matter what. And unfortunately, that has become a true division in this country that's been exasperated and expanded upon and just driven home in the souls of so many people. Unfortunately, for half of those people, they've been losing their souls in the process. And I don't even know if it's ever possible to get them back. That's it. That's all I have to say about that. Jesus, you shouldn't ask me that question. I just basically ranted for 20 minutes. Oh. Pal cut 0.5. Never, ever. He would never do the right thing. He wouldn't cut at all unless all the pressure. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. We're going to find out Wednesday, aren't we? Isn't that rate cut what we wanted for the bull run? Well, it's not just about the rate cut, right? Ava Angel, what's going on? Pal owes us 50. Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, it's not just the rate cut. We in all of these bull market cycles, we've had rate cuts, we've had low interest rates, we've had quantitative easing, we have had a variety of different things, and we're waiting for all of them to fire off, which could really all start soon, right? I mean, if Powell does come out and say we're going to do a 50 basis point cut, there's a very good chance that other things are going to fall in line soon after. So. We'll see, but that's ultimately what I think may be happening. I'm in 4 ADA trades, average entry at 90 cents, 6x average, 72-cent liquidation. I feel good. Paul G, the one thing I will say about that, 72-cent liquidation is fine, but you better make sure you have some capital on the side in case we get some really flash wicks, because you're going to want to be able to add margin to that trade and push your liquidation price down if some freak incident happens. If we got a 25 basis point cut and rates in Bitcoin does drop, I don't know what that means exactly for Cardano, because Cardano's been pretty steady. I mean, I can see in the charts that Cardano wants to break $1. I mean, it really does want to. I mean, we've spent, weeks basically bouncing up and being rejected at around 84 cents. Now it's the other way, where it wants to come down and it's kind of bouncing. It's not even reaching. Let me see. Where's it at right now? Oh, I got to look at this other chart real quick. Okay. Oh, it's been going up a little bit. There we go. So yeah, we're at 89 cents right now. Oh, that's really blurry. It's so far back there. But yeah, Cardano's at 89 cents right now. And I've been looking for it to come down, but it's basically just been resting and running right on that. What is that? The 200 moving average on a 4 hour. So, and we should be in a third level rise on Cardano right now. I'm pretty sure on a 4 hour. I have to double check. Or no, I think that it's either the 4 hour or the daily. So we should be going up and at the very least touching $1 again before we get another bit of a correction. Maybe that happens tonight. I don't know. We'll see. When UK takes over, it's going to be very telling as to what is likely going to be. I'm going to suggest the potential trajectory through Wednesday. Are we going to get the dips now? And the market maker is going to get to work Monday morning. Market opens at 9:30 in the morning and we get a flash down for the week. Trap a bunch of people into the rise up into the FOMC meeting and all that. I don't know, but that's basically what I'm looking at. We shall see. We shall see. Lark David really Lombat. Lark, don't even get me started on him, man. That guy, does he actually even know anything about crypto? Honestly, I've tried watching a couple of his channels and I've never been able to understand how he has the viewership he has. There are so many things, in my opinion, that I just do not care for when it comes to Lark. But to each their own, man. I mean, if people think they're learning something from him and they like him and they like his content or whatever, then more power to him. I don't really give a shit what Lark Davis has to say about Cardano, quite frankly. Doesn't he? I mean, there's stuff that he pushes that I'm like, I don't know how anybody with any knowledge of crypto, unless they're being paid, I don't know how they could push it. But it is what it is, man. I'm not really one to generally sit around here and like blast other YouTubers. It is what it is, honestly. But he's an interesting character. Let's just say that. Crow, have you listened to BitBoy recently? Seems maybe medicated or a bit calmer. Maybe I saw like 2 of his videos. I definitely think he's medicated, in my opinion, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I mean, he said it himself. I mean, he has. I guess he did a bunch of tests. They found him to be bipolar, narcissistic, something. He listed off a whole bunch of things, and I don't know what he's on. I don't know if he's on like lithium or like I don't know I don't know. But good for him, quite honestly. The problem with a lot of those medications are they make you like a zombie, right? I've known many people. One of my best friends growing up, I'm pretty sure was supposed to take a lot of that stuff. And he would, and he'd be cool, and he'd be like chill and cool for a while, and then he would get sick of how it made him feel, and he'd stop taking them, and then he would just be crazy as shit out of nowhere, and you just never knew. Did you take your meds? Man, fuck my meds. I don't need to take that shit. And like, I mean, it was like a problem. You know what I mean? And it's just like, listen, I mean, the last time I talked to Ben, it was not, he said a bunch of things to me that didn't really click in the moment. And then after thinking about it, I'm like, oh, wow, that was actually really disgusting. And I just, and I just left him alone at that point. I was like, it is what it is. And he's never apologized, never said anything to me ever since. And I'm just like, it is what it is. And I don't have any ill will towards him. I would love to see him get better and stay better. It's a tragic tale, man. And, it's sad, truly. And here's the thing, like, it's just me. I'm not one to be a grudge holder. I can be very, very vicious in the heat of a moment, which sucks. I mean, as I get older, I've gotten so much better about controlling all of that stuff. I mean, I used to be like, you run your mouth, you're losing a tooth, like that was it, and then we can shake hands, but you're getting yours. Like, as I get older, I'm just like, whatever. I just don't even care. But I've never been one to like. I've never been one to be like, oh, I hope something bad happens to you. I hope you like whatever. I've just never been like that. I never for as long as, I mean, ever in my life, have I ever been somebody like that. So I've never wished anything bad for Ben or anything. Um, so I hope he is better, and I hope he's on the right stuff that's helping him, and hopefully he stays on it and he continues to just get better, and hopefully he rebuilds, man. I don't give a shit about his channel, but I'm hoping he's able to rebuild his life, rebuild a relationship with his kids, you know, rebuild a decent relationship with his wife or ex-wife or whatever she is now. I don't even know. Boy, did she go through it, but she dodged a lot of shit too, in my opinion. If anything, she should probably thank that girl. I don't even remember her name now, but anyway, it is what it is. Let's see. Oh, Canelo lost that fight. I was actually kind of rooting for Crawford, to be honest, because I had watched the whole video with like all of his fights coming up, and I'm like, he reminded me of one of my old boxing coaches, Eric. I don't know why. He just reminded me of him. Kind of looks like him a little bit. I don't know. But yeah, I did watch that last night. Love you to the moon. Frankie Gastelum. Love you too. Crow, people in Cardano are idealist tech geeks, but not business savvy. You know, you might be kind of right about some of that, but I mean, I've talked to some of these guys, man. Some of them are business savvy. But yeah, I definitely think that Cardano and its community is made up a little bit more of like just tech purists, man. People who want to do things for the right reasons because of the way it's going to help improve society or like whatever, but not necessarily because we're going to get rich tomorrow. And you know, it is what it is. The Mad Christian, what's going on? Any more fights planned? No, I don't have any more fights planned. I think at this point I just need to accept my mortality and just hope I don't. I mean, remember, I broke my hand in that 45-second, whatever you want to call that fight. Well, the one behind me, I actually broke my hand right there. And it's just like, man, I just can't train. I can't train for stuff properly. And like, in order for me to ever fight again, it would have to be like I had talked to Sam Alvey at one point briefly. We exchanged some messages. And I'm like, listen, I'm not coming to you with any disrespect at all. Like, I really respect you, which is why I'm coming to you with this. I'm like, if I ever fought again, it would have to be with somebody like you to really inspire me, motivate me, and somebody that I just really wouldn't feel bad fighting. And I'm like, if you can fight somebody that is like that talented and that good, and know that no matter what happens, he's going to have a smile on his face and no hard feelings, that I'm like, that's what I was looking for. But for me to take a fight like that and to actually be able to train to be even remotely competitive to somebody of that caliber, I would have to be on some stuff. And that's just not that wouldn't be good for me. So, it is what it is, but I definitely think my fighting days are done. No, I haven't been in Cincinnati since 2021. Yeah. Snowman, what's going on? There's too much hate in the world. There really is. There's way too much hate in the world, and it makes me sick. It makes me sick. It will be told in history. I feel terrible for the family. Yeah. And if any of you look at Blue Sky, the comments on there, people talking about, don't stop with Charlie, keep going to the wife. And then I'm like, what? I mean, like, if maybe BitBoy should share some of his stuff with a lot of these people on Blue Sky, maybe they'd all get better, like, I don't know, but just, people are just so disgusting. Thoughts on the mega marketing campaign? Man, keep your money, dude. Listen, I have no interest in Pulse Chain whatsoever, man. I didn't even know that was still a thing. I appreciate the tip, but I always tell everybody, you don't have to tip me. I mean, if you really want me to see your question and not like accidentally skip over it or something, sure, it works, but I have no interest in Pulse Chain, dude. deep state embedded in our government, assisted. I don't know if that's true, man. There's just not enough information out yet about what happened exactly. And I don't know how long it's going to be until it all does come out, if ever. I don't know. It just kind of depends. Like, how deeply rooted is it? Is it? I find it very difficult that um, just some 22-year-old kid got up on some roof and made a shot like that all on his own. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't know. What's up, Crypto Tom? Yes, I'm late. Media is all bullshit. Unfortunately, it is. And I really do believe it's. I've seen some posts talking about how they need to re-implement the Smith-Mundt Act to basically prohibit propaganda in the United States and name it the Charlie Kirk Act. And I 100% agree with that. 100% agree with that. And let's face it, man, if Trump did something like that, not only would it help the country, but it would also help a lot of these freaking left-wing media outlets that are just crumbling day after day after day, losing viewership, losing money. They're having to fire everybody because nobody's watching that bullshit anymore. And it's just like, you know, I feel like if anything, a lot of people on the right were watching a lot of it just to try and figure out what kind of bullshit they were saying about everybody. And then after the election, everyone on the right was like, nobody cares anymore what you guys have to say. It's all, we all know it's all bullshit. And that's why their viewerships have dropped so much. I mean, I would tune into some of them just to see like, well, what kind of shit are they making up today? And some of it was entertaining. Some of it is just so ridiculous that it's almost funny because it's like, how could this even be on TV? And while people like me are watching it thinking this is ridiculous, it's so ridiculous, it's almost like it's almost entertaining. And then you got other people taking it all to heart, like it's somebody preaching gospel right out of the Bible, and it's all 100% real and true. And then they want to go out and act on it. It's just like, wow, you guys are insane. Yes, having trouble with the signature portion. Haven't tried. Maybe it's fixed now. Oh, are you talking about the wallets? Yeah, I think the hardware wallets are working now for the midnight airdrop. Yeah, we're done. The woke stuff is done, man. I mean, I just don't think anybody. Yeah, the poor girl on the train. Yes, don't even get me started on her too, man. I can't do it tonight. It's too late. Already been live an hour. I was thinking it's going to be a 20-minute video. I almost recorded it and then uploaded it because I knew people were going to ask me stuff, and I'm like, I don't want to get on those things. Situation with that poor girl from the Ukraine on the train. I watched it. I was just, only truly mental people would have something to say, man. I don't know what else to say. There's a lot of mental illness in this country. And unfortunately, I do believe that it's a generational thing. 1 or 2 generations deep. I'm not sure yet, but I'm really hoping that as a lot of the people in these younger generations, these college age generations, I really do hope that as they get older, they start realizing the error of their ways, and start seeing things for what is really happening and how they've been used and lied to for so long. Because we really do need some dramatic changes in this country right now. I mean, it's not just this country. I mean, anywhere these seeds have been planted, anywhere in the world, you can see what's happening. Look at France, look at Germany, I mean, it's like, look at all the places where this stuff has been pushed. And I definitely believe that it's all by design. So all right, folks, I've said enough. I've probably said too much. Don't hate me for my opinion. It is what it is. I don't hate you for yours. But yeah, I think that's it for the night, folks. It's time to rest easy. Thanks for joining me. Make sure you hit that like button if you don't mind. Maybe leave some comments down below, and I can read through those tomorrow. And make sure you check out cryptocrow.io. And listen, let me finish with this. You know, I say this all the time, and I do mean it wholeheartedly. I really don't care what side of the aisle you're on. I care about the content of your character. I care about what you do as a person, what you do for other people. I care about those things. I don't really give a shit about your politics. The only time I care about your politics is either A, when you try to force them on me, and you can't accept that I can think or feel differently than you. I personally, I appreciate a varied opinion. I appreciate people with a different perspective. I've talked to people that are just what I would consider crazy liberals, but they've also made valid points to me where I thought, all right, that's a good point. I'll take that into consideration. I get that. I get how you'd feel that way. And that's really the whole point of conversation, is it not? I mean, that's the whole point of debate. It's being able to learn the little things that sometimes mean much more from somebody who's lived in a completely different life and a completely different culture. That's why I have no racism in my body. I don't care where you're from. I don't care what color your skin is, or I don't care. If anything, I embrace it a lot, because honestly, my wife and I both, I feel like we find people, the more culture you have, the more interesting you are. Let's just be real about it. I'm a boring white dude. I'm the first to admit it. So it's like any of our friends that are from like anywhere else in the country, I mean, honestly, or anywhere else in the world, rather, we just find that far more interesting. So it's like, listen, man, we just really, and now more than ever, we need to really start embracing each other's differences, not just in the color of our skin or the our cultural differences, but truly the differences we have in opinions. Because if you have to force what you believe on someone else, well, isn't that fascism? I mean, I'm pretty sure that's a part of fascism. I mean, let's be real about it. But if you have to force it, or you have to completely silence or cancel or do any of this bullshit to people because they don't agree with you, or because they don't feel the same way you do about something, well, then that's really like the exact same shit that a lot of these folks are trying to say they're trying to fight. I mean, at what point do you yeah, anyway, it is what it is. The only people that are ever going to listen to any of this and be like, yeah, Crow, absolutely, are the people that already feel the same way. The people that feel otherwise are they're gonna blow me off, they're gonna flip me off, they're gonna say, screw you, dude, and they're gonna go back to their propaganda and get their next dopamine fix, and nothing's gonna change. But hopefully now is definitely the time to start looking at some significant changes in society before shit really hits the fan, because the energy's changing, and I really don't think a lot of these folks understand that it's just not going to be good. We really do need to start figuring something out. Till next time, crow your coins. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you soon.